Welcome to Dr. Dorian's House of Killers, where we take a look at all your favorite killers and see how they could be implemented into Dead by Daylight. Today, we are taking a look at Der Kinderfänger. Roll the intro. So, Der Kinderfänger, or the Pied Piper. This could probably be based off of the Kinderfänger, and it's pronounced Der Kinderfänger, from Crypt TV. Although, of course, it's a version of the Pied Piper in horror, so it wouldn't necessarily have to. But in case you're wondering why it's called a Crypt TV chapter, that's the reason. Links to Crypt TV, to my Twitch. I'll stream Monday, Tuesday, every other Wednesday and Friday, are in the description below. Now, as always, we are going to start off with 115% movement speed, 4.6 meters per second, a size big, terror radius big, map effect minions, demonic children, maybe children. I don't know how this behavior would want to handle this, since they might not be a big fan of having children, so maybe some kind of evil imps or something in case they say, nah, children is a bit too, who knows, but something in that direction. So a minions play area, let's just call it that. Power 1. Oh, before I forget, I should always explain in case somebody doesn't know. I am of the opinion that killers should have multiple powers, and they can sort of like choose a power loadout. Because that would make it a bit more interesting. So there's that whole thing, and that's why I always give a list of different powers. Of course, if a behavior would ever implement it with just one power, I'm pretty sure one could pick something suitable from the list. You know? Okay. Power 1. Charge. Minions in range charge straight towards the closest survivor, should survivors be in range. So you have these little areas where minions are playing at with who knows what. Doesn't matter, I guess. And the power gets executed, and then if there is a survivor close by, in vision range, you could say, they charge straight at him, which should make it somewhat easy to dodge. Of course, if you're not paying attention, no, it does make it easy to dodge. Upon being hit, it would give a notification and 1 damage state. If they aren't close, if there is nobody close by, or there's an vision obstruction in the way or something like that. I don't know if a vision obstruction would, well, do something, but that probably, I'd say no. Just having a map-wide effect where an attack is issued towards any survivor in a certain range in vision is pretty decent, I think. Also, of course, there's always options to modify it with add-ons. Alternate power 1. Blocking minions. Or blocking. Minions block pallets and vaulting locations for 15 seconds before returning to the play area. 2 charges with cooldown time. So, similar to the nurse, probably, that you have 2 charges, and if you don't use both of them, or it's the cooldown time starts, for the recharge. If you use both of them, it resets after the second one is used, but once it's around once, you have both your tokens back, or something like that. And they would, the minions would come from the play areas, hold the pallet up, or block a window for 15 seconds before running away. So it would have a sort of a something like, not like a cast per se, but you would have a execution time that would depend upon where the closest minions are and how long they need to get to the pallet. something like that. Power 2. Dark music. The music has different effects depending upon the add-ons, so it's kind of like the Freddy palette, but well, that would have a bigger range, I guess. Base effect is to induce a terror radius sound, as if the killer were right beside the survivor. Or I don't know if 20 seconds is a bit much. Maybe a large cooldown would then be required, or it's not quite as long as 20 seconds, something like 10 seconds or maybe 5 seconds, but then a shorter cooldown, or who knows, maybe add-ons do something. So terror radius would be heard, like the people were right next to it. Other effects that could be induced would be fatigued, mangled, exhausted, and stuff like that. Of course, depending upon the effect, the time might also have to be reduced or increased, maybe even. But that would be then done with add-ons. Alternate power 2. Blocked vision. The camera gets locked into a face-forward first-person view for, I guess, maybe 5 seconds. Maybe 10, could be 20, but I think 5 would be kind of nice or enough, with a certain cooldown to balance it out. So the survivor can't look around anymore, not look around the corner without actually poking their head around the corner or something like that. It's would be really weird, I admit, but I feel like that would kind of fit into this hypnotic type of a thing that the Pete Piper has, and that's what this is a horror icon. Kinderfänger, in case you don't know, der Kinderfänger is the children snatcher, and the Pete Piper lures all the children out of the city when the city doesn't pay. So it's a little spin on the fairy tale that Crypt TV did. So I feel that having a hypnotic music, would fit. Okay. Perks. Dark Symphony of Silence. After a failed skill check, gain the oblivious status for 5, 10, or 15 seconds. I don't know how valuable it would be, but it feels like, maybe they could make some kind of a sound, some kind of music, just as an additional effect, some kind of dark melodic symphony music that would then be played. Would be kind of nice. It wouldn't just be the same snippet, but I guess having a symphony or a 10-minute piece play in loop would be too hard to manage, probably, but whatever. A second perk. Visions of music. Illusion obstruct survivor's view every 5th, 4th, 3rd speed vault. So they vault very fast, and then they get some kind of visionary effect. Again, the idea is that the Pete Piper uses music to induce some kind of hypnotic effects, and that can also be vision altering things. And so it's not that you don't see anything, not maybe as bad as the clown's gas cloud, but something akin to it, like some butterflies flying around, obstructing the view. Might not have to be that severe. Maybe it could be something like that. And the rank of the perk determines after how many volts this effect would occur. And of course, it would probably have something like after the effect occurs for 30 seconds or something like that, the effect can't occur again. Although, if a survivor volts 3 times and then he has this butterfly effect, which I would probably do like 15 seconds or something like that, or maybe no, even 5 seconds. 5 seconds is more than enough. Similar to the clown, the intoxication effect. So if he's done that, and then he vaults another 3, I think it would be okay to give have the effect recurring, but I guess it would be something that would have to be tested. Last perk, Hex Intro. Pressing an action button, would have to see which one it is, if it's a kick or whatever, on a completed generator curses the repaired generator and links it to a dull totem, should there be dull totems remaining. If there aren't, perks useless. That's the way it is. The dull totem becomes a hex totem, and the completed gen gets a countdown equal to regular regression. Upon reaching 0, the gen is unrepaired, uncompleted, so to say, again, and the hex totem gets destroyed. So you can't use this over and over again, since you have some kind of super good totem hiding spot. Destroying the hex totem cancels the curse, and the gen counts as repaired as long as the curse is still working. So in case this is a little bit too confusing, just in case, I'll try to sum it up. Killer kicks Gen. Gen gets cursed. And the Gen has an imaginary regression bar that doesn't affect the Gen yet, but it needs to regress 100% back to 0, and then it affects the Gen, putting it back at 0. There is a totem somewhere on the map, a dull totem, that becomes a hex totem the moment this process is initiated. And if the survivor cleanses a totem before the curse takes effect, before the curse bar hits 0, and the cursed regression becomes actual regression, destroying a repaired generator back to 0. If the totem hex totem gets destroyed before that, nothing happens. And even if the killer would apply the perk again, I'll get to that in a moment, because there are still dull totems left, the regression would start back at 100%. The curse would start back, so it resets the curse in effect. Now, this curse can be used 1, 2, or 3 times, depending upon the perk level per match, and of course, depending upon how many dull totems are left. But there should be some kind of indication that gen is cursed. But this also means if all gens are completed and you open the exit gates, it doesn't matter if the gen gets stopped or something like that. So there is this little bit of a wiggle room, but it can, correctly implemented, sort of swing the match back in the killer's favor. If dull totems are done, or if the survivors get other things done fast enough, it wouldn't have an effect. So, yeah. One more thing, or just to repeat myself. All the numbers that I say are subject to balance tests on the PTB and in gameplay, so don't take all the numbers as at face value. Take them with a grain of salt. If you have a killer that you would like my House of Killers spin on, leave it in the comments below, tweet it at me, come into my Twitch. As I said, I stream Monday, Tuesday, every other Wednesday, and Friday. In case you like it, please leave a thumbs up. And I am trying to get sometime in the whenever future to 1,000 subscribers, so a subscription would be appreciated. But whatever it is, good or bad, I'm happy for any comment and a thumbs up, thumbs down to give me some feedback. Other than that, Until next time, and toodles.